Peace and blessings, y'all. This is your boy Gerald. It is the 13th of November 2016. How is everybody doing? You're on the backside of your weekend, y'all. That's right. And I hope that wherever you are well. I hope you were able to take this time to reflect on the events that have occurred during your week. Also to give credit where credit was already there, because you're starting to see what was apparent, as well as what you did not know, and as well as finally coming back home to you. I commend you on that, because see where you're headed. These are the makings of you. It always was. And though there'll be times where there'll be some feelings where you feel unsure of yourself or there is doubt, just know God is in control of it all. So how you doing? I hope that wherever you are, you're able to finally allow yourself to find comfort, to take moments of reflection. How about take stock of what is being revealed to you at this time? Who am I talking to? Did you actually think that the path that you were on was going to be straight? Did you actually think that where you are now, it was going to be solid? I think some of you are now starting to understand the parable of being able to see the forest beneath the trees. You know why? Because you were made perfect. And I know that can be cliche, and I know there may be some of you be saying, well, Gerald, I hear this. I understand what's being conveyed, but I still, I'm unable to take that in. You know why? You know why you're feeling the uncertainty? Because the logic that you have or we're working with is contradicting what is being shown. That's why it doesn't serve you. It does not serve you to be your own worst critic. Who am I talking to? You might know that one person. Before they take 5 steps, they're so wound up and wrapped up in their head, they take none. That's nothing but fear. And it's okay, y'all, to feel afraid, to feel uncertainty. But there's only one thing to release you of that. And that means you got to come on home. That's right. Because it's too easy to use the term brainwash. What is being required is more or less a emotional checks and balance of your perception. See, you know how people say, well, you get to a point in your life and then you understand what is needed and what does not serve you. You hear that all the time, right? But not one time do you hear people say, before you can understand what you need and what serves you, you got to know you. We skip past that part. Like that has no merit. But that is the linchpin of everything. It's kind of like looking at a train. You know, when that train is on that track, well, those connected cars can't go nowhere without that front locomotive. the motivation, the drive, the focal point. It's there for one particular reason, to get you to your goal. Now let's hold that thought. Because what is touching me in my spirit right now, somebody's been dealing with a lot of abuse. Yes, you have. Maybe you were the abuser. And you are worried. You are worried because everything that you have come to know was a lie. You realize that everything that was placed before you was nothing but to serve the person or the people in your environment, and you were the tool. You know why you're going through that right now? I can simply say this. You got work to do. But before that occurs, now more than ever, you're going to have to understand your emotions. Sure, I understand society wants to paint the picture of, well, you've got to be strong, Gerald, because you'll be taken advantage of. You got to have a certain persona about you, or people will pick you apart. But guess what? Why don't you look back from this moment and go back 10 years? Just go back 10 years and tell me what the common thread that you saw. Did you see support? Did you see empowerment? Or did you see a lot of disconnection? Did you feel like you were the one hanging on the proverbial string and you were trying to make sense of it all? Now you've got to own this. Every willful choice that may have brought dissatisfaction for your gain. You got to take stock of every choice that you knew would not put you or define who you really were. Maybe that's the reason why you're having these dreams as of late. But let me tell you something. 2017 is going to be such a pivotal year for you. And I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait a little while, y'all. And I'm going to talk about 2017. For those who have been following me and those who have discovered my channel, just know there's a reason why you're hearing this. See, God wants to talk to the real you. God can care less about the things you've attained, because we both can agree that the things you've attained, they don't serve you at all. Maybe that's the reason you may have this mindset of, damn if I have it today, damn if I have it tomorrow. It is what it is, and you want something more. You got to embrace that. Stop choosing to check out. Your emotional cycle is not something that you put on layaway. It was given the moment that you took your first breath. Why? Because it was the tool that will help you not only define, but navigate through your life. So right now you're feeling a certain kind of way right now because what you thought was forever, it was all a mirage. It was all an illusion. And one by one by one by one, they are all coming apart. Oh, them spiritual seams are starting to fray these days, ain't they? You think you're supposed to be walking around feeling half or less than? Let me tell you something. You know how I always will interject in every video? An opportunist does not need your help to expose themselves. What is required is courage for you to admit it to yourself, what is being shown. Why? Because when you decide to really do that, you'll start to know what it feels like to be alive. How about be loved? Because the byproduct of not doing that is alienation, is abandonment, is being emotionally disconnected to your surroundings. Now, you know I gotta go there. As I mentioned, checks and balances, you're gonna have to be authentic to what you're feeling. And you're going to have to find a place where you can feel emotionally safe and assess your surroundings. I think some of you are realizing or waking up and realizing the place that you thought was your sanctuary is actually your prison. Who am I talking to? Now, at the end of the day, you got to make a choice. You can keep the status quo of what you've experienced and come to know. This probably lasted you the last 15 years of your life. You got to be honest now. You got to be honest with yourself. Because if you're feeling like your life was on life support the whole time, you wasn't living your life. You wasn't. So if the behavior or the thought pattern that came through this progress help attract the people that have access in your life, then you have to be honest with yourself to admit they never saw your worth. Not one time did someone come to you and say, hey, you deserve better. Hey, you shouldn't do that. Hey, this is the way to go. See, there'll be multitudes of people that will find and see what makes you unique. But only a select few will earn the right to know your story. I keep telling you this, and I'm going to keep saying it till I reach the intended heart and mind. You can't run from you. You can try to reinvent, change up, relocate, or even disguise. The real you will be seen crystal clear. This should not be. What makes you feel that you are the victim when you were really the victor? See, those opportunities. I'm gonna throw the disclaimer out here because I've got to reach you at the lowest level, and if the words that I choose may feel a little uncomfortable, but gives you an opportunity to ponder, then those were the words needed to be heard. Y'all, there's a lot of, I don't have to tell you how much exploitation that the people that really just didn't give a damn about you have been using as long as time have been counted. I ain't got to tell you that. But until you decide to see the value in your life, guess what? You are willfully giving them permission to continue. I don't have to point that out. You probably can name 5 people already. Their whole disposition is to go through the behavior just so that they can complain. Don't you know that that is a misuse of passion? You know what passion is. That is something that you would do for free. It is also the root of what is deemed the word compassionate. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. That is the root. And you've got to look at that root. You've got to identify that it exists. What do you think your blessings come from? Hold on one second, y'all. Hey, let me call you right back, guy. Okay. Okay. Those that is the linchpin of your direction. I hope y'all can hear me. But you know what? There's a truth there too, because there are going to be some people that are not going to see it. They're not going to get into. They're not going to get to the end of that. They're not going to. They're not going to be able to see the celebration. The, what makes you grow and evolve. They're not going to see that. And the sole reason for that is they're not going to do the work. But they're going to want to benefit. So, what makes you think that these people have the intention to grow? Can people change? Every day, y'all. Every day. You woke up this morning, right? Did you not? So tell me why you can't grow. And I'll tell you a person that doesn't know who they are. Why do you think you keep having these dreams, good or bad? Those dreams are validation and a means from, see, we as people want to romanticize what is being shown. And sometimes you just got to come with the real. Listen, that is messages from the spirit. That's from the spirit realm. That could be by way of your spirit guides, could be from your loved ones that have transcended, or it can come from him. You think God don't get tired? Do you actually believe that God just wants to sit there and watch you not come into fruition? You actually believe that? Huh? You actually believe that he just want to watch you be trampled on like a doormat, be sexually exploited like a prostitute, to not be able to be? Why you think he created you? Only the people that feel that way are the people that have yet to see their purpose. And these same people can't see their purpose because they refuse to see their direction. But I understand because I too was that way one time. Hardest thing for a human being to do is to acknowledge what does not serve them. How about someone who does not love you? See, your spirit, yours, is like a antenna. I'm about to use that. That's the best way I can explain it. And the frequency that you govern your life is what makes your reality. So if you're out there disrespecting yourself, if you're out there not taking care of your health, if you're out there putting yourself on harm's way, two things are happening. It speeds up the aging process of your body, but it also opens a spiritual portal for demonic possession. You actually believe demons are not real? You actually believe that the devil does not exist? Well, I'll do one better, and I'll shut that down real quick. If the devil did not exist, why do we have TV shows that glorify him? Why do we have people used as puppets to send that nonverbal reminder? Why would you put so much energy in something that doesn't exist? Even those atheists have to admit that one. But I'm a firm believer of this. When the fool realizes that God is real, the earth shakes. And she's been shaking like a bell for the last 30 years, y'all. You can't deny what you're seeing. You can't downplay what you need. You can't run forever. But with those people in the cheap seats, they hope you do. They hope you do. Because you are indirectly doing their bidding. You are indirectly moving yourself from you. So you will never be in a fruitful relationship if you don't have a relationship with God first. That's the trade-off, y'all. You will not understand what it means to be loved until you decide to love yourself first. But see, those people in the cheap seats, they want to turn around and play with your mind and want to take words and play with them to convince you, well, when he says, love yourself, he means it from a conceited position. No, I'm talking from a submitted position. Because guess what? God never asked you for your help. He asked you to just prepare. Why would you turn around and give someone all they need if they can't manage what they have now? In other words, why would you? Do you not see the commonality of you constantly saying, I want a good man, I want a good man, I want a good man, I want him to have all these qualities, but you keep going to Tyrone. I say this in love, y'all. I say this in love. And you know why? Because that's what you want. You spoke it into existence. That's the real secret. The power of word. Because words, you can't take them back, but only adapt from them. So meanwhile, We on this earthly realm want to make false gods and images just like they did in Sodom and Gomorrah. And what happened? God got tired. He said, okay, I've shown you through signs and sounds. I've actually brought people into your life to convey certain things that only that you can relate to, and you still scoffed at it. You still mocked at it. You still chose. You know, there's that free will again. And you are surprised where you are now. Can you turn around? Can you turn that around? Every day, y'all. Every day. But you have to submit to yourself. And I understand that there's some people, they will not admit this one thing. Their mindset or perceptions basically on from a fifth to seventh grade comprehension level. Most people, common Joe, everyday people. So you got to reach them on the level that they're at. So you can easily come with the scientific. Well, let's be honest about the scientific. Scientific doesn't acknowledge that God exists. They play with that fact. And that's the reason why we don't even have the solutions that we needed, because they were already there, because God already told us everything that you need is found in the earth. So does it surprise you that the earth is being poisoned? You are what you eat. The air is being poisoned. And the covert decision to dumb down your reality began the moment the moment that you were born. You didn't even realize it. I mean, take note. Think about it. Why is it as the years progress, society takes a step back in evolution? Have you noticed that? We're more primal. We're more ultra sexual these days. Why? Why is that? It's because we're not protecting what was blessed. They don't call it private parts for nothing. Not everybody's supposed to have access. But you listen to them. They convince you that your body is not good enough and have you run out there to modify just to feel accepted. Don't you know, my baby girl, you were made beautiful the moment you breathed. There's not supposed to be another person that looked like you, because when you were created, the mold was broken. That's why we know it as innocence. But it's really authentic. Wordplay, y'all. Wordplay, wordplay. But you keep allowing them to come in and tear down and destroy and spit at and slap around and destroy the makings of you. I'm going to tell you what. This is what's going to happen. And remember, you heard this first. I give it the next 5 years, you're going to start hearing, you're going to start seeing a multiple of people getting sick, and these ailments will not have a cure. It will turn around and make HIV look like the common cold. Because, see, we're due. We're due for something social to bring us aware. Because you have some people that realize that, well, you know, those old tricks, those old shackles are not holding these days, because, you know, we have those who have this A-type personalities and introverted, mindsets that they want to investigate. They're very intelligent, but they're very misled because all that they needed was already in front of them, within them, the whole time. But you want to believe that the only time you feel whole is when you're in the arms of a stranger. How wrong you were. How wrong you were. Have you not seen the nuances of what's been going on socially? Everything is in reverse now. Men act like women, and women act like men. This was progressive, y'all. These were all doings of what Satan wants. He wants you. See, listen, the devil can't possess you until you give him full reign. So he's been working behind the scenes since day one. Now, let me tell you something. Some of you, biggest challenge is forgiveness. You may be reared, came from an environment where you are now. It takes an act of Congress to show trust. There's a difference between being aware and being vigilant. But it matters not unless you have your worth. So does it matter? Does it surprise you these days? The games that you played don't resonate that much. The things that you thought was exciting and exhilarating don't strike that chord these days. But there, underneath it all, is a seed of resentment, anguish, and impulsive actions waiting to be released. You know why? Because you were taught that. You were taught to believe that an eye for an eye justified the means. You were taught to look for maximum potential with less investment. You were taught that you don't need love. You think God did that? You actually think God did that? Society actually convinced you to not love your hair. I even gave 3 years of my life, and I grew mine, grew it down to my back. You know why I did that? To show you that if you just start loving you, plant that seed, it'll grow. And I did it. That was my gift for someone. Meanwhile, society says, you need to be insecure about what you look like. You need to fit in that box. They ain't gonna pay you no mind if you don't. But your treasure box, your treasure trove was here. It was here the whole time. And if you don't believe me, look at your environment. If you were not unique, why were they there? Let me make this clear for you so you can understand this. This is where I put the disclaimer out, because I've got to reach someone before it's too late. And I hope you hear this. Why do you think they were coming around to smell your scent? Why do you think they chose you for gratification. I bet you a nickel to the dime the gratification did not match the emotional state that you took for monetary exchange. Does it surprise you now you're looking over your shoulder? Does it surprise you now you are having to remember what you said, with who and where you were, and you're not safe these days? The payoff was your life. I ain't got to tell you, I'm not making light of it, because I know that you done been through some things. You've looked, you watched your body change. You saw colors and bruises and didn't match what was supposed to be in the heart. All for the benefit of those who would never see your value of your existence. So I do understand why you may be feeling a certain kind of way these days. But let me reiterate this to you. It is not your responsibility, nor should it be your energy to look for revenge, spite, or resentment. It's their loss. Why do you think God said, vengeance is mine? Why do you think setbacks occur? Why do you believe that you actually think you're losing your mind? No, you're not losing your mind. You are knocking on the door of your spiritual storm. And you need to come to terms with that, because you can't run from that. That's why getting high don't work. Getting drunk don't work. Doing reckless things with your body don't work. And you know what's sad about that thing? You know what's so sad about that? Foolish people never see value in their actions. So someone's going to pay. And that's why you always see this. 1 minute they're up, then they fall. You know why people fall? It's to teach you what humility is about. It is also to destroy your ego, to destroy your pride. Because pride and ego are nothing but tools that the devil uses all the time. He passes those out like business cards. It doesn't matter if you turn around and call back. You took it. So there's a price. So maybe that's the reason why your finances are like this. Oh no. But his greatest trick, that you actually believe you don't love you. Why do you think God said, honor thy temple? Your temple is a metaphor for your life. He didn't say, leave the door open. Who left the gate open? He didn't say that. That's why wherever you live, there's a door there. And guess what? Not everybody will have access to where it's safe. There's a certain protocol that's required for entry. So does it not surprise you that maybe where you live, there's no peace there? You know why there's no peace there? Because there's no peace inside you. Maybe that's the reason why the problems keep coming. That's what it is. Because you have convinced yourself that you're going to do it your way. When are you going to accept the fact that you're a spiritual being first? Huh? And yes, Queens, let me explain something to you. There's never, no ever have been a happy ever after in carrying yourself as the concubine. That's the doings of the Jezebel spirit. Her whole sole purpose is to destroy your family. Maybe that's the reason why you're having issues with your kids right now. Who am I talking to? It seems like you try to find a way to reach little Johnny, but Johnny ain't trying to hear you because Johnny, deep down inside, is so hurt. How can you find safety in the person that's supposed to protect you if the person can't protect themselves? Y'all need to stop. Y'all think that your little ones don't see what you're doing. Oh, this is Miss Uncle Pete. Well, what happened to Uncle Larry? You think they don't take note of that? Only for them to grow up not straight. How are you going to be able to value $1 if you don't value you? Mind you, they see it all. They see it all. Just like I personally believe, y'all, for you to do your research and be grateful, be grateful that things didn't turn out the way they were projected. Because I believe, y'all, these next 4 years are going to be so pivotal in your life because it's going to be about accountability. And that's what got a lot of people pissed off right now because they realize they're on borrowed time. Those spiritual pink slips have been put out before they've been mailed out. They already know. And guess what? the closer that you grow, you draw closer to God. Guess what? One by one, you're going to see your side, everything that was your obstacles, they're going to be resonated up, every one of them. And you're going to be forced to deal with it. Maybe you'll finally earn the right to have that emotional safety to actually say this word right here. Let's say it all together. It's called no. One more time. No. No. Some of y'all need to learn that. If you are in a relationship that has no love, you possess the key to your freedom. And what is a relationship without protection? What is a relationship without empowerment? What is a relationship without a game plan, a direction? Remember, for those who are married, did you forget your vows and said the two spirits shall be joined as one, intertwined? That's why they can't be broken. But if you come in there with an agenda, it was already broken from the door. And all you did was open up more lessons. More lessons that probably came from them. But really, was what you were hiding within you. So it doesn't matter how good you are sexually. That don't matter. If you looking at your mate and cannot say, you are my forever, they don't love you. I don't care if Johnny is walking around with a baseball bat. I don't care if Susie has got the PIN number to Wells Fargo. They are a walking, talking reflection of you. So, Kings. And let me throw this out here too while I'm thinking about it. Even though you have a lot of people that are adding into the conversation about the term or the use of the term king or queen, right? And you have some people that are very agitated with that. And you have those people that feel that they have a self-entitlement to be called that. And let me explain to you why I use that term. That is my way from an intimate level to you. See, my channel is very small, but my heart is very big. And if I could, I would speak your name on my channel. I would talk to you. I'm talking to you by way of spirit through my time. Because ultimately, I want you to know something. Your life and your happiness matters. I want you to be able to be comfortable to accept that you deserve to be happy. You shouldn't feel like you have to have a plea bargain to smile. Well, the only way I'm going to have peace in my home is I got to give them some. Your life is not pay to play, y'all. So from me to you, as to show respect, I respect your time. That's the greatest gift you can give me is your time. I value it. It's the reason why I do it. I do it actually because I'm guided by him. Because Gerald stays prayed up. And that's another way you can tell if someone is being truthful too. Because my dialogue hasn't changed. It doesn't flip-flop. But the reality is, we live in a world of selfishness. We live in a world of disrespect. We live in a world where people willfully place their self to the lowest bidder and ransom their dreams and hopes only for superficial things that will not matter tomorrow. You don't believe me? Go look in your closet. I guarantee you'll see something that you bought that you didn't need. What I need is for you to be happy. What I need is for you to be able to speak your truth. What I need is for you to finally be able to rest. How about that? Why are you going to sleep to dream about resting? Did you know that was one of the also greatest illusions is the term vacation. Why do people go to vacation? Why do they do it? The end goal is to reset their lives, to get back to center, to finally give what they needed all along. Shouldn't your environment represent that? It shouldn't feel like Beirut every time you step out your door and come home. You shouldn't be dreading the fact that, there are actually people, I'm talking to you, kings, I'm talking to you too, queens, that prefer to be at work than at home. Isn't that backwards? Your home is your sanctuary. And if your sanctuary is not peaceful, guess what? God ain't there. Now, at the end of the day, nobody can love you more than you love you. To do that, you've got to be vulnerable to yourself. You have to be authentic. Because when you decide to be authentic, two things are going to happen right off the bat. All those things that were not, you're going to feel, see it, and be forced to make corrections. That's where courage comes into play. There's also that beautiful no. Why do you think people come back in your life? Who am I talking to? You dealing with that now, ain't you? You thought in a million years that person wouldn't walk in the door, or that chance meeting, like, wow. But you forgot. You forgot this. Remember those moments inside yourself? You said, you know what? If I could just have a moment, if I could just hear them breathe, if I could just if I was a bird, to post up and just see if they're doing okay. Who am I talking to? You know what's keeping you from that? You are. You're being spiritually detained from yourself. Why? Because that ego, because that pride, because of your environment has taught you to take a position to ransom your happiness. And one of the things that really blew my mind, and I've learned about this these last 2.5 years, because, oh yes, y'all, oh yes, when it's all said and done, Dr. Gerald Davis, clinical psychologist, will be doing the same thing, except in his office. And eventually, God willing, I will have a channel like some of the other guys and other females out there. But what separates my position is I place God first in everything I do. So I don't worry about what I don't have right now, because I know it's coming. But we must all do our work. We must all toe the line. We must all acknowledge what is apparent. You have some people, I must admit, that have a love affair for their pain. And these people, no matter what, will not admit to themselves that without that position, there is a void. It also lets you know how vulnerable they really are. You see them all the time. These are people that always are on 25. Mad. They're just angry. Top of the morning. Mad, and project their voice in public places. You know, I had a situation yesterday. I wasn't going to share, but I will share it because it makes sense to what I'm saying. Yesterday, on my way to work, which I'm looking at the clock because I got to go in a little bit, I stopped to go get lunch. And as I stopped to get lunch, I'm looking at what they have, and it was normally crowded, but there wasn't anybody there. But there was a lady. It was a lady that happened to come to my blind side, and you know, she was looking, I was looking, and the server looked up from what she was doing, and she said, "What would you like to have today?" And I kind of slanted, looked over a little bit, and made eye contact back, and I proceeded to place my order. So next thing I know, I hear this voice. And the voice said, next time, you need to make sure that you're looking, make sure. In other words, she was saying, you need to make sure that you're vigilant on your surroundings. And she was implying that I had cut, right? So, me being me, I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there." I said, "Go right ahead." Meanwhile, the server is sitting on the other side of the glass, and I'm waiting for her. I'm thinking she's going to just go ahead and interject and place her order. And she doesn't. She just said, "No, no, 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 no." And I said, "Well, I'm sorry. I didn't see that you were there. And you were looking, and the server was ready to, do her job." And I thought that was it. And I proceeded with what I wanted. And next thing I know, she said, "That's the problem. Nobody wants the." She was being very disrespectful and very condescending. Now, I wasn't going to feed into her energy because I knew right off the bat that she had something going on with her before she stepped into the location. It was very, it was very obvious. I'd already assessed that by just, you know, I assessed this already by her presence. But, you know, I was going to let her place her order. But instead of just letting that be, she felt that she had the right to continue disrespect. Now, I could have turned around and just been the ignorant black man, but I gave her love instead. I said, "I don't know what's going on, but there was no need for you to use condescending terms when all you had to do was place your order." And I said, "I don't know what's going on with you, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to make this right." She, in turn, was about to say something. I said, "But that's okay because I'm blessed. Everything gonna be okay." And I smiled, and that shut her down. She, in turn, deflected what had just occurred and went to go direct her negativity at the server, and was like, "Well, what's your name? I'm gonna, complain." And the server, instead of taking a detached approach and not feeding into it, she turned around and was feeling just the same, these two. So I then turned around and I was amazed, because I knew what was going on was really demonic. I proceeded to place my order. I got my order. That server had a bad attitude after that. And would you know that the lady never ordered anything? She went through the entire store passing this energy out. And that told me right then and there. You've got people that you're going to come in contact with their sole purpose is to unravel your day. They don't need your permission to unravel it. That's something you govern. You dictate the outcome. So when I left, oh yeah, you know Gerald got to stay prayed up. But I learned a valuable lesson on that. If you will not put your foot down, people are going to continue to step on it. People are going to continue to treat you like what you do not need, because we teach people that. But the question should be, why? Why do they feel that way? Why do they feel that they are entitled? Why? Because 9 times out of 10, these people are not connected to who they are within themselves. It takes courage to live your life. That's where your empowerment comes. So you have a choice, y'all. You gonna break that cycle, or you gonna live a lie? Because 50% of the people on this planet, when it's all said and done, will not know their purpose because they will not understand their direction. And understanding your direction is also the filter of what makes your reality too. So why would you claim something or embrace something that will never grow? You can't kill love, y'all. You don't believe me? Why you think you're thinking about those people? Ooh. Mm-hmm. And this goes back to what I was going to originally say before that share. There's a lot of truths that are right before your face that you don't know exist until you decide to go inside and do that work to educate yourself. That's the only way you're going to empower what you stand for. And with that being said, why do you think people come back in your life? Why do you think certain experiences repeat themselves? Why do you think certain outcomes always tend to resonate at the time that you don't want them to? I'll let you think on that. Figured it out yet? Number one, because it's you. It's part of your story. It's part of your legacy. And number two, to ensure you've learned the wisdom from it. You actually think you're unlovable? You actually think no one wants to love you? Protect your heart? Grow with you? The end goal should be, I'm growing old with her. We're going to be fruitful and have kids. We're going to have a beautiful home. We're going to enjoy our existence on this planet. Not, well, I ain't feeling her and she ain't feeling me, so I'll go ahead and get me this side chick over here. Or I'll go get this sugar daddy over there. That's the greatest disservice you could do to your life, is allow someone to have access to your life only by way of monetary means or temporary gratification. Don't you know those people that do that, or when we do that, it's never worth the investment that you give them. So you're going to always have someone lose out. And I think that's the reason why Fantasia wrote that song, Sometimes You Win When You Lose. Because when you get knocked down, when you fall apart, when you feel uncertainty, first of all, you can't understand uncertainty unless you identify that feeling. So do you really think it serves you well to acknowledge it doesn't exist? I will say this. I remember hearing someone, and I'm going to give credit where credit's due. I think it was T.D. Jakes, about 4 or 5 years ago. He said, the best way to heal a broken heart is to acknowledge it is broken. But to acknowledge it is broken means you must be vulnerable to admit what is not there, but have the courage to fix it. That's what time's about, y'all. But them same people that have found a way in your life are banking that you won't. And they think that that's the skeleton key to your attention, to your focus. And they're going to keep putting that key inside that lock. It could be your sex. It could be your heart. It can be your mind. They're going to keep trying that lock. They're going to keep trying till the lock is changed or the key is broken. What do you think a spiritual shackle is, y'all? To thyself be true. That's for somebody. That's why when you hear rhetoric of this, well, to get over someone, you got to get under another person. Yeah, but what if that person is the next person that's going to give you HIV? Maybe that person might be the person that carries your children, only with the sole purpose of making your life hell. Maybe that person may be the person that you are connected to by blood and bone. Instead of giving you guidance, they give you pain. Who am I talking to? Because as long as you stay on that path, y'all, you'll never see growth until you decide to love you. Let me explain something to you, because I didn't talk long enough. If there's anything that you've gotten from my videos, just know if you thirst for love, you ain't gonna get it until you love you. I'll do one better, and I'm gonna bring this home. Queens, you know I love you. That sugar daddy will never marry you. That bad boy will never protect you. That girlfriend will never empower you. They're all there in your life to distract you. When's the last time you had a conversation about God? The person that sees your worth will have those traits. When's the last time y'all prayed together? That person that's supposed to be in your life will exhibit it. When's the last time you actually felt safe? That person will be the living example of it. So if you don't have any of these examples going on, the greatest deception ever was to fool you to see it that way. Why do you think we hear the parable of birds of a feather flock together? It's because they keep flying until one of them has a direction. God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Meanwhile, you turn around worrying about what's going on outside of your door instead of looking at what you need inside your heart. And the funny thing about it is, you're putting so much energy about things you have no control over. As long as you keep that focus, you won't get the money right, because it requires you to ground your feet. If you give me a thumbs up, if you know somebody that's going through something, with all my videos, share it. 2017 will be here. You blink your eyes twice and we're there. Make sure that what's on your agenda will last a lifetime. When's the last time you seen your smile? When's the last time you had a good night rest? When's the last time you said, I love you to you? And I guarantee you, when you do, you'll see your life and who you really are. Be blessed, y'all. Have a blessed weekend. Peace.